To match those microphones.
For you.
Those microphones are there to match those.
Match the color,
antennas.
yeah.
Which then match it.
Oh, special.
That's true.
See, just for us, eh?
Guys, we're rolling.
Okay.
We are rolling.
You got 2 minutes left.
I'll give you 2 minutes if you want.
To Australia.
Gentlemen, thank you both all so much. There's so many of us.
I'm seeing 3.
I'm seeing 3.
Okay.
We're so grateful to be sitting with you here today. I don't think we've ever been in a country that we did not want to leave as much as Australia. We absolutely adore it here.
Yeah, that's good.
And it's just been amazing to be here.
It's been tough. We bought these hats just so that maybe one day someone will adopt us, thinking that we're
from here.
We're from here.
Yeah.
You know?
That'll do it.
Hasn't worked yet. But
Not yet.
We still have a day here, so we'll see.
Don't believe too much in that idea.
No? Sell it right now. Okay, fair. We have the receipt still, so
We'll see if it'll take us back.
I'll adopt you.
We love that this series is so authentically Australian, and for each of you, we'd love to know what did it mean for you to be part of this series and bringing this series to life. And Jacob, we'd love to start with you.
I mean, for me, it was desperately important to come home and make something that mattered, and the chance to do that there's not a lot of chances to do that over here. So when Justin emailed me, it was a no-brainer, and it's been incredibly important to me.
Amazing. Simon?
I've been sort of coming back, and I've been spending a lot of time here doing Australian projects for a while, and it's always been, like Jacob says, it's always been a big thing for me to come back and support stuff here to help usher in future generations of people in the business and help create opportunities and to tell stories, Australian stories. A big thing for me with this one is obviously the people that are involved, the source material. Richard Flanagan's book, Shaun Grant, I've read a bunch of his scripts over the years, and Justin Kurzel, who is a wonderful filmmaker, and he has he instills a confidence in you when you engage in a project. And obviously then there's about like the character, like, can I do something with this character? Can I make this character a character that I can that people can identify with and connect with?
Definitely. Absolutely. Thomas?
I mean, they've kind of covered it to echo that sort of sentiment, but it's, that with someone like Justin and Shaun at the helm, that they're going to be able to assemble a really great team, both in front and behind the camera. So that's kind of the immediate thing that you want to be a part of that. And it is a very Australian story, but it's also quite universal. And it's, it at its core, it's a love story, and it's a story of hope. It's a story of brutality. And I think it's, it's a credit to Richard's writing, of course, but what Justin and Shaun have been able to do with this show, that I don't think it's going to be kind of singular to Australians. I think everyone's going to be able to resonate with it.
And you have so much Australian talent behind in front of the camera. When you're on an Australian set, what do you find is the biggest difference between shooting on any other kind of set out there in the world?
I personally felt like there was no sort of hierarchy between departments. It was like it was a total creative endeavor on everybody's, on everyone. You might help a grip move a box or move a light over there. There is no difference in departments. It's everybody's hands-on making this one thing. It's a real labor of love, and you do it out of passion. It's not, on this particular job anyway, there was no job. Everyone was there because they loved it, and everyone was on the same field.
Definitely there's a sense of collaboration that you feel immediately, like a collective working towards a goal. Not to say that you don't have that on other sets. You do have that a lot on other sets in other countries. Specifically I'm talking more about America, but there is definitely a structured hierarchy that exists. We kind of break through that a bit when we're working. I mean, we kind of have to too, because our budgets we don't have big budgets. So there's a what do they say? What's the expression? Like, necessity is the mother of invention, right?
Right.
Is that the expression?
Sounds like that.
I believe it's not. That's good.
I like
we'll attribute it to you now.
Yeah.
It's yours.
Don't do that.
And when you talk about your character Dorrigo and how he's kind of in this balance between war and also like a forbidden love, how did you find the balance between both those areas?
Well, I mean, they were both so separate, just in the way that the shooting was structured. I shot the Summer of Love initially, and then we had a 6-week break to go and do all the physical work, and then we came back into the camps. So by the time I got to the camp, the idea of Amy was like a ghost of love. You know, I had all the memories from the first portion of shooting to take into the camps. You know, so luckily for me they were separate enough that I could, you know, draw from the first one and bring it into the second.
One of the episodes that I think has stayed with us the most in episode 4, Thomas, you have some of the most harrowing moments in this series. How did you prepare emotionally and physically, like, to take on those moments?
Physically, I mean, you know, we shot. It always comes back to Justin. He was very considerate throughout all those scenes, but specifically that one. And at the start of the day, he asks, "How many takes do you think you have of this?" And we decided on 4, so we did 4, and we make sure we get it done in 4. And we had choreographed that scene meticulously, and each take was about, you know, 16 or 20 minutes each, and it's just about powering through it. And I guess emotionally, you know, I always knew that scene was coming, and it was the one I was terrified of. But as it got closer to the shoot day, you get into that insecure actor mindset of trying to practice in your bedroom, and that's a pretty horrifying scene to practice in your bedroom. But I don't know, there's so much faith in and trust in Justin that you also feel he has in you, that you are able to just sort of surrender and give into it. And I don't know, I was talking to him and Richard about it yesterday, but there's whole sort of gaps in my memory of that scene and that kind of week of shooting. But I just knew that if I could try and, you know, I've done the preparation in the past, and hopefully if I'm just there, it'll come out. So hopefully it did.
It did, and it's very much stayed with us. And Simon, just to end off on you, it's very interesting to see Keith kind of caught between, like, love and betrayal, and so much in this series that's, you know, we want him to live a full life, but also how did you want to approach bringing someone like that to life, where you're kind of caught between love and having the betrayal of, you know, someone that's very close to you?
I feel like it's weird. Like there's this, because it's a period piece, and there's an essence of Australian culture that has this sort of optimism and this kind of approach to, you know, getting through stuff and continuing on, which isn't, it's not dissimilar to the story that happens in a far more extreme and exaggerated version in the prisoner of war camp. But the idea of meeting obstacles and being torn apart, or having it taken away from you, it's just, I think it's a measured thing as you're approaching it in the structure of storytelling. And that's when you've got, like, you know, you've got a good creative director around you. You can sit in with that. I can't even remember what the question was, to be honest.
No worries.
You know,
All good.
We love the answer, though. Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. And gentlemen, we're so grateful for your time, and we're also so grateful that you've also allowed us to crash at your place whenever we're in town next week. We're absolutely in love with Australia. So thank you again. And we hope to talk to you guys again.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Cheers.